Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video will hopefully answer some questions that I've been getting quite a lot lately. Here is a card that I'm going to show you how I made using my Cricut. I love using my Cricut for shaker cards. I feel like it's really handy, and when you use a Cricut, you're only limited by your imagination. So I'm still getting the hang of this. I'm not going to say that my way is the right way or the only way to make a shaker card with a Cricut, but this is just what has been working for me. I'm using the Little Bundle stamp set by Lawn Fawn and the Loads of Fun stamp set. These are really cute and they work really well together, and I'm using the Llama Tell You mini stamp set. I'm also using a sheet of Shrinky Dink plastic. This one is sanded on one side and smooth on the other. And like many of my videos at the moment, I'm using a limited amount of Copic markers and colours in general. I feel like this one I maybe limited myself a little too much, but it still looked pretty cute in the end. Just going to pop up a picture of a baby card that I had previously made. This new card is going to the same parents now that their baby has arrived, and I wanted to tie the two together by using that little llama. So that's why that llama is showing up in this card. These are the shaker elements that I'm planning on using. These little things, I think I've seen them called half beads on eBay when I was looking up all sorts of shaker elements, and they're really, really thick. I found with this card that even though I used many layers, which I'll show you in a minute, they were still almost too thick for my shaker window. So it's just something to keep in mind when you use them. They need a lot of space to move around. Here I am stamping my images with some black StazOn ink. That stuff stains everything. I find it really difficult to use for the first time on some stamp sets because I really like to try to keep my stamp sets as clean as possible, but it does stain them, so I feel like it's a bit of a sacrifice when you start using that stuff. And here I am just stamping out my regular images that I don't need to shrink. Now, if I wanted to make this card really easy for myself, I could have just grabbed a whole blank piece of card and cut a hole in it and then stamped my washing machine around that. That would have been a bit easier than doing this. I had to find a circular die that would work, and the only one I had that fit was that cross-stitch die. And as you can see, the crafty gods must have been smiling down on me or something, because that was such a close cut. Here I am just very quickly colouring in some of my images. I will skip most of this though, because you've seen me colouring before. If you haven't, hello newbie, don't forget to subscribe while you're here. Just something to note when you're colouring in with Shrinky Dinks and shrink plastic, the colours show up really pale on your images. This all changes once you start shrinking them, so it's something to keep in mind. If you colour with really dark colours and they're not really showing up, they're going to show up probably even darker than they would than if you were using them on plain paper. And here I am colouring in those adorable little baby clothes. They're just so cute. To colour in most of my images these days, I'm still only using 2 Copics. I just find I'm not getting too overwhelmed with going into too much detail. I've seen a lot of people say that, they can't keep up with the amount of Copics they need, and they feel like they need 40 Copics to colour in one spot, and I'm finding that's just not true. If that's the way you like to colour, then that's fantastic, and I'm sure your images look 1,000 times better than mine, but right now, with being on a budget and only owning 15, kind of 2 of each shade, one lighter one darker one, I am just severely limited to what I can do. I'm just finishing up my colouring here with my white Jelly Roll markers. I just love the way that they add little details to it. I feel like if I can't be using so many colours to colour my things in, at least adding these details is still giving my little images a bit of dimension. Now, this wouldn't be a shrink plastic card without showing at least one item shrink. I noticed after I did this one that my phone had turned off because I never keep track of my phone battery when my phone hangs above my head now to take my videos. So here we go. There's my little llama, and then after that I do go ahead and shrink the rest of the items. And there they are in the washing machine. It's going to be so cute. And here for reference is just how small they get. If you haven't tried turning your images into itty bitty shrink plastic shaker pieces yet, I highly recommend you do, but it's addictive and I'm sorry. So just then I was measuring the window for my washing machine so that I could measure how big I needed the hole to be in my shaker for the window. And here I am just doing a quick layout of how I want things to sit and how high I want my washing machine to sit on this card. I'm going to need these numbers in a minute to enter into my design space. The measurement I'm taking here is just from the very bottom or edge of my card base up to just below where that hole starts that I have already cut, because I want my window to be just a little bit bigger than the washing machine window itself, so that my shaker pieces have some room to move around where you kind of don't see the edges underneath. I hope that makes sense. I'll show you in a minute. I'm a very visual learner and teacher, so hopefully this shows you what I'm talking about. I'm taking a shape in my design space. I took a square, I changed the dimensions of it so that it would be as big as the card bases that I use all the time. I duplicated that and made that new piece slightly smaller. So the white is my card base, the pink is kind of the whole front of the card, all the decorative stuff. This circle is going to be the window that is going to sit behind my washing machine. And this little square is going to be just used purely to work out how high I needed my hole to be in that piece of card. So that measurement I was taking before with the ruler, that is what that square is for. And then I deleted it because it was just there to map out where this hole needs to be. And then I attached everything, of course, so that that hole would cut. And now I can just say bye-bye to that card base because I have a card base. I don't need my machine to cut it. And then I was about to send it to the machine, but then I thought, no, wait, I need a stack of these. So I duplicated this so that I had 8. Why 8? It just seemed like enough to hopefully get those pieces moving. And all of these are going to be stuck together once they're cut with either glue or a tape runner just to make it nice and thick. And here we go. That is what my machine cut out. All of these pieces are going to be layered. And as you can see, that hole is cut just a little bit bigger than the hole of my washing machine. That is what I was trying to say before. Between those two layers will sit my acetate, and that will be the window for my shaker. What I do love about my Cricut is that all of these are perfectly cut. The only reason anything would be wonky or out of place would be my own error, not the machine, because it's cut everything identically. By this point, I'd stuck most of those pieces together, but I saved one so that I could work on it for the front of the card. I chose this pale orange color because it kind of matched the Copics that I was using, and I just spread this ink all over the base. I gave it a little spray with water just to give it a bit more texture, and then I used, of course, one of my sparkly gold watercolor pigments because they are beautiful. I used the champagne gold for this one because this card had a lot of orangey red tones. And I just need to show you why I keep using these things. Look at how pretty they are. It was then time to set my scene, so I just used a piece of brown cardstock for my flooring and stuck that down, and then stamped my sentiments to the front of the card. I trimmed a small piece of acetate that would fit behind my washing machine. I just roughly cut that one out with scissors because no one was going to see the edges of this one, and I used some double-sided tape runner to adhere it into place. I then stuck the whole front onto all those layers of cardstock that I had already layered. This whole bulky piece of my card front was then adhered onto my card base using lots of double-sided tape for extra security. This is something that I do with a lot of my shakers, especially when I adhere a bulky piece down onto a card base. I make sure that I use glue all the way around the edges so that none of my little shaker pieces find any little holes to get stuck in and stay forever, because there are always pieces that decide to find their forever home on the first shake, and I do try to limit that as much as possible. I did just use some ink to colour the word baby. This baby isn't staying. I'm actually going to put the baby's real name here once this card is finished, so it's purely for show at this rate and just to protect their privacy. I run my powder tool in the window of the shaker and on the acetate just to reduce as much static as possible and to help these little pieces slide around as much as possible. I've also put my little shaker elements in that window. I do add a bit more soon. I thought I had enough, and then I really didn't. A washing machine is full of bubbles, so I had to pry up the corner a little bit on the washing machine, and I loaded it up with sequins. Just to add more sparkly elements, because everything has to sparkle on my cards, I used my Wink of Stella pen over the letters of the word baby. This card got me twice with my phone dying, so as you can see here, I quickly set my scene. I coloured 2 more items, or 3, the socks and the blanket off camera. I've glued down my washing basket and my little box of suds. They're ready to go, and then just for show, because I'm not keeping this word, I've just stuck down the letters with some blue tack. Then some last minute elements, just some more of those half beads for bubbles and some tiny sequins to make it look like there's bubbles around the laundry. And then the best part of any shaker card is giving it a good shake. Now some of these pieces did stick, and that was a bit annoying. I think they were stuck more to the foam tape than because of the window. It was only those half bead pieces that stuck, but I am pretty happy with how this card turned out. I really hope this card helped if you've been thinking about making shaker cards with a Cricut. It's super easy. Like I said, this is most definitely not the only way to get something like this done, but it just seems to be working for me at the moment. I will most definitely be doing more of these tutorials if there's a demand for it, so please make sure you like this video if you'd like to see more, and don't forget to subscribe so you can come back and see what else I come up with to use with my Cricut. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.